The immune system is a fascinating, wonderful network in our bodies that functions every minute of every day without our knowing. It's a finely tuned system that protects each of us and is a critical part of health and well-being. It's like an umbrella, protecting us from the environment. The immune system defends us against infectious diseases and also from the constant bombardment of bacteria, viruses, microorganisms, and other foreign materials. With nearly every disease, something goes wrong in our body's immune system. HudsonAlpha is working to better understand how the immune system speaks to us when it's fighting disease and how that information can be used to improve our health. This is called Immunogenomics. Think of immunogenomics as the intersection of genomics, the study of all our genes and their functions, and the immune system.
What happens is that something goes wrong in disease with our immune system, and practically every disease has some kind of immune component. We have researchers coming in with blood samples for many, many different diseases that Jen and Sean Levy and the rest of our team have been going through and applying the technology to see what the immune system looks like in those particular diseases.
By looking at the DNA of our immune systems, researchers at HudsonAlpha are learning how to diagnose and treat disease much earlier and much more effectively than we do now. HudsonAlpha's research in immunogenomics is being done with collaborators and physicians throughout the world who see the importance of unlocking the secrets of the immune system.
Breast cancer in the United States and breast cancer in China could be different cause and different signatures, and therefore this study need to be global and there need to be collaboration. Local collaboration is really important to help us with establishing the protocols so we can use elsewhere. And we're really grateful that we have these collaborations from local physicians.
I first found out about the R10K project through Jessica Allen, research technician here at HudsonAlpha. And she introduced me to Dr. Jian Han, who was doing amazing work in immunobiology, and introduced me to the R10K project and presented it to me, and all of the background work he's done is quite amazing. So that got me excited, and it's easy to go from there back to clinic and recruit patients to take part in a project like this.
There are two huge unsolved issues in babies, one of which we're talking about on this project, and that is a disease called Necrotizing Enterocolitis, where the baby's bowel fails. And we're trying to figure out why. And this is a disease that has haunted me for over 30 years. I am the eyes and ears at the patient level, and my job is to find patients who might be appropriate for this technique to study. HudsonAlpha's job is to make the technique better, faster, and require less blood from these little babies. And both of us seem to be doing our jobs fairly well.
Well, Dr. Dworsky approached me about the project, and my portion of the collaboration is quite indirect. As a surgeon, I operate on the children, typically after the diagnosis of necrotizing enterocolitis has been made. But clearly there is a tremendous morbidity, even a mortality to necrotizing enterocolitis. And so any hope in understanding why it occurs and how we can prevent it is important. Almost a third of those children will pass. And so it's important that this collaboration take place and that we're successful.
When we talk to patients, we always tell them the traditional coronary disease risk factors. We talk about diabetes, high blood pressure, family history. We talk about cholesterol levels and smoking. And I remember one of my professors used to say, we can modify the diabetes, the high blood pressure, the cholesterol, you can stop smoking, but we cannot treat what your parents gave you just yet. And in that, we cannot modify your genetic background yet, has really stuck with me.
HudsonAlpha is applying its understanding of immunogenomics in a project called Repertoire 10,000, or R10K. Led by Dr. Jian Han, the R10K project aims to sequence the immune system DNA of 100 patients for 100 diseases, making a total of 10,000 samples. From this study, researchers at HudsonAlpha hope to learn information about our immune system that will lead to earlier, more accurate diagnoses and treatments for many types of disease. Like many research projects at HudsonAlpha, R10K is a global project with physicians and patients from all over the world, including right here in Huntsville.
Jen Han's technologies allow you to take the tiniest amount of blood from someone and then figure out what their immune system is producing at that moment. You do this over a time course during disease, for instance, while a disease is progressing, or maybe while you're in remission from a disease, and we can learn an enormous amount about how our immune system is responding to that, or maybe even responsible for it.
With diagnosis, we try to find a group of patients have the same symptoms, and then do research to find out what is wrong with the patients compared to normal, what is unique about this disease compared to other disease. That's basic research to find out the disease-specific signal. Then we need to develop a method that we can test that disease-specific signal every time, quickly, easily, cheaply, and then commercialize that. So that is the whole process of developing a diagnostic.
The HudsonAlpha Institute was built with a spirit of collaboration. It seeks out and values the opportunity to join forces with other researchers and physicians in the quest to improve human health and well-being.
In neurology, we see patients with progressive neurodegenerative disorders that affect their quality of life, and we try to do everything we can to try to find an answer or to try to find better treatments for those individuals.
If I am able to help Jen figure out how to predict which babies will get NEC, I think that will be a huge boon to future neonatologists and to the field of study. So that would be how I would benefit from it. My patients, if we're able to predict which babies will have this terrible condition, then perhaps we can figure out how to prevent it.
When we approach the child with necrotizing enterocolitis, one of the most difficult things is to make the diagnosis. Many children will have functional problems with their intestine. But if we understand that this is necrotizing enterocolitis, then we can intervene early and change the course of the disease.
There's no other place in the country or probably in the world where he can have a conglomerate of researchers and engineers with different type of interests together in one place. And that place, of course, is HudsonAlpha. And I added to him that I see the same thing happening with the Huntsville medical community. We have a phenomenal, very, very resourceful medical community in Huntsville that I think we could link to HudsonAlpha to make the future of medicine and the way we treat for our community a lot better.
I would encourage other physicians as they look at their patient population to observe and to look at the problems that they face on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, those difficult problems, and present those to the researchers at HudsonAlpha. It is the collaboration, the cross-linking of different technologies at HudsonAlpha that allows us to progress and understand how we can make a difference with our patients.